Some states look perfect from the outside. Sunlight on the skyline, beaches flirting with the breeze, rooftops glowing like they're auditioning for a postcard. But check the moving trucks at the state line, and a whole different story shows up. Americans aren't just relocating, they're escaping, hauling U-Hauls like they're fleeing a zombie outbreak made of taxes, rent, and grocery bills that fight harder than MMA champions. So here's the countdown of the top 5 states Americans are fleeing, and why. And we'll start with the one that still feels dreamy, right up until the bill hits your soul. Number 5. Massachusetts. Massachusetts is gorgeous in a way that almost feels scripted. Cambridge mornings look like a college brochure nobody ever throws away. Boston sunsets bounce off brownstones like they're winking at you. Even the suburbs look curated, with maple trees lined up like they're doing a photo shoot for fall calendars. You breathe the air and instantly understand why poets move here and never stop writing. Then you check the price of a 2-bedroom apartment, and the poem turns into a horror novel with no happy ending. Here's where the story changes. Between 2020 and 2024, Massachusetts lost 162,751 domestic residents, ranking 46th in the entire country. That's not a slow leak. That's a steady stream of "yeah, I'm good, thanks" from people who love the charm but can't deal with the spreadsheets. And the numbers hit hardest among young adults and families, the group you'd think a state full of universities would keep forever. But when student loans already feel like a lifelong subscription plan, adding Boston rent is basically self-harm. The state's economy is incredible on paper. Biotech, finance, education, medical. Every job sector sounds prestigious enough to impress your parents' group chat. But prestige doesn't pay for groceries that somehow cost extra just for existing within Massachusetts' borders. Boston consistently ranks as one of the most expensive cities in America, which is wild because the weather alone should qualify people for hardship bonuses. Winters can slap you so hard you start apologizing to the wind. Housing is the real villain, though. Buying a home feels like applying for a dragon adoption program. Only the chosen few get in, and everyone else looks from the outside like, guess we'll try again next century. The median home price in Greater Boston swings around numbers that should require emotional support. And that's before you add bidding wars, limited inventory, and property taxes that act like they're trying to prove something. Families especially feel the squeeze. They want the space, they want the schools, they want the quiet. But the math sits them down like a guidance counselor delivering bad news. Many end up moving to places where their kids can have a backyard without the parents turning into full-time financial gymnasts. And the data backs it up. Massachusetts is losing the 25 to 44-year-old age group at a high rate, which is wild because that's the group that's supposed to keep a state vibrant and growing. But even with the chaos, Massachusetts never stops showing off. Cape Cod waves crash like they're performing. Salem looks like a Halloween movie set. Western Mass gives you peaceful landscapes that hug you emotionally. And Boston nightlife is just loud enough to convince you to stay another weekend. Yet every beauty shot ends with the same quiet punchline. How much is this costing me again? And once that question becomes constant, residents realize they can get similar charm, similar jobs, and way bigger homes in states where the utility bill doesn't make them reconsider their life choices. Massachusetts is stunning, brilliant, historic, alive. But for a growing number of residents, the price tag whispers louder than the scenery. And that whisper is pushing people out one moving truck at a time. Number 4. New Jersey. New Jersey is the kind of place that tricks you beautifully. Picture perfect suburbs, streets lined with trees so green they look photoshopped. Cute towns with diners that feel like a hug, beaches that stretch out like soft promises. You can hop on a train and be in New York City before your coffee cools. It's the ultimate convenience meets comfort combo, and for a moment, you truly believe you've unlocked the cheat code of American living. Then the property tax bill shows up, and suddenly, you understand why half your neighbors mysteriously vanished. New Jersey didn't earn its reputation by accident. It holds the heavyweight title for highest property taxes in the entire country, with averages climbing above $10,000 per year, depending on the county. Paying taxes here feels like sponsoring a small government personally, like your house is sending a monthly donation whether it wants to or not. And it's not just the taxes. Between 2020 and 2024, New Jersey lost 192,209 domestic residents, ranking 47th in America. That's almost 200,000 people deciding they love their kids, but not enough to stay and fund the state budget forever. The wild part? The state's total population is growing, but only because immigration is carrying New Jersey on its back, like a parent dragging a toddler through a mall. Housing? Expensive? Groceries? Matching NYC prices? Insurance? Don't even ask. The cost of living stacks up so aggressively, you start checking the receipt for errors. But that's the trick. New Jersey looks so good at first. Great schools, great location, easy commutes, strong job access. It's the suburban dream package. You get the house, the yard, the Trader Joe's, the highway that always seems to be under construction for no reason. It feels stable, familiar, a place you could see yourself aging gracefully until you realize your mortgage isn't what's stressing you out. It's your tax bill doing MMA moves on your checking account. Residents joke that you don't buy a home in New Jersey. You buy a tax obligation with a complimentary roof, and the jokes land because they're true. Polls consistently show that cost of living and taxes are the top reasons people plan their escape. And when people finally run the numbers, moving to Pennsylvania, the Carolinas, or even Florida starts looking less like a big decision and more like common sense. Still, New Jersey has heart. You feel it in the food, the attitude, the little towns with bakeries older than your grandparents. You feel it at the shore when the sun sets in orange streaks and kids run around with sandy feet. You feel it in the pride, because Jersey folks love Jersey loudly. But love doesn't always win against financial reality, and every year, more residents pack up, not because they want to abandon the Garden State, but because they're tired of raising a family inside a tax wrestling match. New Jersey is warm, lively, full of character, but for many, the dream isn't worth the price, and that's why the moving trucks keep rolling out. Number 3. Illinois. Illinois knows how to show off. Chicago rises from Lake Michigan like a chrome crown, shimmering at sunrise. The skyline cuts the sky clean, neighborhoods buzz with history, and the food, oh the food, could solve emotional problems. One deep dish slice, and you'll forget every breakup you ever had. Walk through Millennium Park in the evening, and the city feels like a warm invitation with a side of jazz. And that's just Chicago? Drive out to small towns and you'll see golden fields glowing under sunsets that feel scripted. The whole state looks like it's trying to win you over. But then reality taps you on the shoulder and whispers, "Quick question, how much are you paying in taxes again?" And that's when people start packing. Illinois has been losing people faster than a Cubs bandwagon after a losing streak. From 2020 to 2024, the state lost 418,056 domestic residents, ranking 48th in the nation. That's almost 500,000 people dipping out, saying things like, "I love Chicago, but I also love keeping my paycheck." When nearly everyone knows someone who moved to Indiana for cheaper everything, that's a clue. Let's talk taxes. Illinois didn't just raise the bar, it slapped the bar onto a rocket and launched it into orbit. Property taxes here swing around 1.8% to 2.2%, some of the highest in the country. Homeowners get bills that look like ransom notes, and renters feel the ripple effect too. The state's overall tax burden sits near the top of every ranking, like Illinois is collecting trophies for financial pain. The joke across the Midwest? You don't pay taxes in Illinois, you surrender to them. And if you laugh too hard, another bill shows up in the mail. But taxes aren't the only headache. For years, the state's budget situation has been, let's call it, spicy. Pension debt looms so large it should have its own seat in the legislature. Combine that with rising costs and high unemployment rates compared to neighboring states, and residents start eyeing the exit like they're at a party that stopped being fun an hour ago. Then there's the perception battle. Chicago is a world-class city, but headlines about crime, whether accurate or exaggerated, travel fast. People see the numbers, they see carjackings trending on social media, and suddenly they're comparing Zillow listings in Wisconsin. And honestly, Illinois residents have mastered the art of complaining about the state while defending it fiercely at the same time. They'll say, "Yeah, I hate the taxes," then brag about Portillo's 5 minutes later. Still, it's easy to see why people fight so hard to stay. Illinois is beautiful. The Chicago lakefront alone could convince you to renew a lease you can't afford. The culture is deep, the music is legendary, the people are tough in the best, most loving way. But when financial stress becomes louder than all the charm, even lifelong locals start checking moving rates. Illinois doesn't lose people because it's boring. It loses people because the costs hit like a plot twist nobody asked for. And that's why moving vans keep rolling out one by one. Number 2, New York. New York is magic from the moment you step into it. The whole state feels alive. Manhattan glows like neon ambition. Brooklyn turns every brownstone block into a mood. Upstate looks like a nature documentary narrated by someone with a soothing voice. And when fall hits, the Hudson Valley becomes a postcard factory. Every leaf feels like it has its own publicist. New York is big, bold, and breathtaking. The kind of place that makes you believe you're one decision away from being the main character. But being the main character here comes with subscription fees. Very expensive subscription fees. New York hasn't just been losing residents. It's been hosting a 4-year marathon of people sprinting toward cheaper zip codes. From 2020 to 2024, the state lost 966,209 domestic residents, earning the second worst spot in the country. Almost 1 million people said, "I love the view, but I also love being able to buy groceries." And honestly, hard to argue. Start with the rent. Manhattan rents hitting $5,600 plus, on average, feels illegal. Studio apartments cost more than some people's cars. If you want a 1-bedroom with natural light, be prepared to give up a kidney or two. Even Brooklyn and Queens, once the affordable alternatives, are now playing financial hardball. You walk into a showing and the landlord looks at you like, "So, do you have billionaire energy or nah? Buying a home? Let's not traumatize ourselves." The median home prices in many parts of New York are so high, you'd think the houses come with free life coaching. But the real plot twist is that New York is growing, just not from people already here. Immigration keeps the numbers afloat, but homegrown New Yorkers? They're leaving in waves. Young adults especially. The people who bring energy, flavor, and new ideas are the ones struggling the most. When unemployment for young workers hits 8.6% and rent eats half their salary, leaving suddenly looks like a strategic life upgrade. And then there's the tax situation. New York has some of the highest income taxes in the nation. Combine that with high sales tax, high property taxes, and high everything else taxes, and living here feels like paying cover charge for breathing. Make 6 figures? Cool. New York treats that like pocket change. Add quality of life stress, crowded trains, aging infrastructure, crime concerns, subway delays that feel personal, and people start whispering, maybe Philly wouldn't be so bad. Even upstate folks aren't immune. They get cheaper housing, but fewer job opportunities. The math still curls its lip. Yet, New York stays irresistible. The food, the art, the energy, the sense that anything could happen at any hour. It pulls you in deep. People always say, "I'll just stay another year," but the bills stack, the rent climbs, the taxes sigh loudly, and suddenly that one more year becomes, "Let me check apartment prices in Florida real quick." New York is gorgeous, electric, unforgettable, but for almost 1 million residents, the cost of staying isn't worth the dream. Number 1. California. California is that friend who always looks perfect in photos. The beaches glow like they were painted with melted gold. Palm trees sway like backup dancers. The mountains in the distance sit there all majestic, reminding you that nature has better posture than you. Drive the Pacific Coast Highway at sunset and the whole state feels like a movie trailer you weren't invited to star in. From Los Angeles glamour to San Diego, calm to the fog-draped beauty of San Francisco, California looks like paradise wearing expensive sunglasses. But then paradise hands you a receipt, and suddenly you understand why people are running for the exits like the state is on a fire sale. No state has lost more domestic residents than California. From 2020 to 2024, it watched 1,234,030 people pack their bags, load their cars, and whisper, "I love you, but we need space." That's not migration, that's a mass breakup. People aren't leaving because California is boring. They're leaving because the cost of staying feels like a subscription service nobody can cancel. Let's start with the housing market, which operates like it's pricing homes for Marvel superheroes. The statewide median home price hovers around $880,000 plus, which is wild considering that's the median, meaning half the houses are even more expensive. In many parts of LA and the Bay Area, you need the income of 3 tech founders and a lottery win just to compete in a bidding war. Renting doesn't save you either. California rent grabs your paycheck like it's owed money from a past life. Then there are the taxes. California taxes everything with the enthusiasm of a kid stickering a new laptop. Income taxes? High. Sales tax? Also high. Gas prices? They behave like they're auditioning for the stock market. Residents joke that California charges you a fee just for enjoying good weather. And honestly, that joke lands a little too well. People don't leave California because they hate it. They leave because surviving here feels like an extreme sport. Add in wildfire seasons that seem to last half the calendar, insurance companies pulling out of entire regions, and the reality that even basic necessities cost more than other states' luxuries. And the decision becomes less emotional and more mathematical. Still, California works hard to keep you hooked. One walk through Napa Vineyards, one morning surf in Malibu, one late-night taco in East LA, one Silicon Valley paycheck. The state whispers, "You know you want to stay." And you do. Everyone does. The weather alone could be a personality trait. But math doesn't care about sunshine. And California's math hits hard. Rent, taxes, gas, insurance, food, everything piles up until even lifelong natives start Googling houses in Arizona or how far Texas is by car. And when they see how much cheaper life looks elsewhere, the decision writes itself. California is breathtaking, inspiring, wild, beautiful, but for over 1 million residents, the dreams stop fitting the budget. America's not broken, it's just shifting. People aren't chasing perfection, they're chasing peace. If your state pushed you too far, you're not alone. Drop where you'd move next and hit subscribe so we can keep breaking this all down together.